Hello and welcome to my garden and the dinosaurs who live there. Behind me is a very large pile of wood chippings, which I've been very fortunate to have received absolutely free from a local tree surgeon. I'd heard a number of people on YouTube when they were looking to get wood chips to maybe landscape their garden or whatever, said they contacted local tree surgeons because tree surgeons quite often can't get rid of the wood chippings without having to pay to do so. So most of them, I'm told, are really happy to deliver them to somebody that can give them a new home. Now, I was contacted by two tree surgeons after I initially contacted them, and one wanted me to pay a delivery charge, which I was quite happy to do. But actually, shortly after that, before I'd agreed to have a delivery, another local guy said, "Oh, yep, I'm in your area. I can deliver them for nothing." So here I am with over a ton, I think, of wood chips, and I'm going to distribute that around the garden in various areas that need a top up. I've got a lot of areas that I had used bark on, and after a time obviously the bark just decomposes and I need to top that up, so I'm going to do that now. So if we take a look at this, you can see that there's a lot of reasonably fine, but some larger chunks of wood chip, and it's obviously been conifers of some description that have been at least part of this, because I can see some of the leaves there. It smells great, it smells fantastic, and there's some logs that are in the load as well, which I knew that was going to be the case, and I'm not too bothered about that because I've got some ideas for utilising these logs. So yeah, I'm going to be a very busy person over the coming days. So let me show you the first area that I'm going to put these or this wood chip. This area is, I suppose, what you could call my front garden. It's actually to the side of the house, and it's not a classic front garden in so much as it's not very manicured, and that's really because I have 3 trees here. This one, a Scots pine, is huge, and as well as the Scots pine there are 2 sycamores. These have preservation orders on them, so even if I wanted to, which I don't, I couldn't actually get rid of them. So it's given me a challenge as to what I can do. Technically we're now facing north, or I'm looking south, but the garden's facing north at this part, and so it doesn't, well, it gets sun because there's some gaps in the fencing and or above the walls and so on, but it's not your classic south facing garden, so there's, not everything will grow here, plus it's very dry because it's under trees. So yeah, let me give you a little look in here, and I'll show you where I'm going to put some of the wood chip. Okay, so here we are in the side garden, and what I have got in here that seems to flourish are some rhododendron. I think 3 different rhododendron, a pink one, a purple one, and a yellow one. Sorry, I don't know the exact varieties. There's also some poppies growing down here. I do need to weed a bit, as you can see, naughty little weeds here. It does get awful leaf strewn, obviously, in the autumn. I think most of them are away. There's just this batch here to go. In this bed, I did originally have lots and lots of daffodils, which for the first year they came up fine, but because it's not really getting a lot of light, it didn't really replenish the bulbs. So we get the odd one, like you can see here, coming up, but a lot of them used to come up blind, so I just sort of got rid of them. Here's another nice bunch here. I've got some tubs out here as well that I've just sort of utilising the space. Here's some more tulips that I'm growing. As you've seen probably from previous videos, I'm growing a lot of tulips in pots, and these ones are apricot favourite, so I guess these are going to be apricots. And they've come up nice. Oh, and round the corner, this is lovely. A lovely little batch of crocuses. Isn't that nice? I just think crocuses are lovely when they come up. Because it's always such a miserable time that they choose to come up, but they lighten the place, they brighten the mood. And these are beautiful. And they don't do anything with them, they just disappear, come back the next year, do their stuff and then disappear again. I love crocuses. I have actually planted some stuff out here also. This grass, for example, which is getting bigger. And oh dear, need to weed this a bit. But we also have, now this is lovely, this is Brunnera, Jack Frost, and it's beautiful when it gets bigger. You know, it's a perennial, it's just coming back into growth now, but these leaves will get much bigger and they have a silvery tinge to them. They're great, and it's really the foliage that you grow these for, although they do give you some little flowers as well. And there's another one over there with, yep, I was going to say some weeds, but not at all. And then this here is a sort of ground covering plant. Is it Pulmonaria? I could be completely wrong there, that just sort of sprung into my head. So that is great for ground cover. There's a elephant's ear begonia? Might be. There's a couple of little daffies over there coming up. And that's sort of it, and I do need to tidy up out here in the gravelly part. And then over here, oh look at these dandelions. Darn. Here, this used to be quite a nice raised bed that I grew different plants and shrubs in. And then I foolishly put some comfrey, that's the word I'm looking for. I put some comfrey in here, a little bit of comfrey over here. But of course, I learned very quickly that comfrey can be quite invasive, and now I have a huge clump of comfrey here and I've just given up with it. I thought, right, that's fine. I'm going to use comfrey, and I do use comfrey for compost, and I'm going to be using it this year in my potato experiment to compare comfrey as a fertiliser against ordinary, no fertiliser, and also against potato fertiliser. So watch this space on that one. So I've got a huge clump of comfrey here, and a couple of poor looking little plants that are getting edged out now that I will move, including this hart's tongue fern and some other bits and pieces. Now, oh, that's sad. This used to be a great shrub and it's obviously dead. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. It was a variegated shrub of some description. I don't know what's killed that off, because that's been going great guns for years. Obviously I've not been doing much out in the front garden for a while. Okay, so I'll talk more about that at some other juncture, but I'm really in here to show you where I'm going to be putting the wood chips, and it's this area here. This used to be bark, all of this used to be bark, and it is sort of just, it's decomposed, so I'm going to be putting the wood chippings in here. Here's some more comfrey, because I transplanted some comfrey over to another part of the garden, and it's doing great guns here as well. And this here is my stumpery. This is a stumpery, a very, very small stumpery, and a stumpery is a bit like a rockery but with bits of tree. I think it originates in Victorian times. They used to call it a bit of a a Victorian horticultural oddity and it became sort of quite popular as a way of showing ferns, which had become popular at the time. So this particular plant here, God, I'm really rubbish at remembering. Hang on. Epimedium. An epimedium is doing great guns here, but there are some ferns, some of which die back and will come back later on in the year. But it's a small clump and it has been taken over by this epimedium. So I have got more logs as part of that wood chip delivery. So what I thought I would do is expand the stumpery and greatly expand the stumpery, because that's one thing that does do well in this sort of shaded, dryish area. So I'll expand the stumpery and put wood chips around this area. So yeah, that's the plan, and I'll do as much of that as I can today, and we'll see how we go. So I hope you can see I've made quite a dent in my mountain of wood chips, but there's maybe half of it gone. I figure I've moved about half a ton of it today, and I'm actually feeling okay, although I think a bath is definitely in order. I won't show you the nick of me after doing all that work, but let's have a look and see what it looks like in the garden. Ta-da! I think it actually looks quite good. The weather's taken a turn for the worse now. After being a glorious morning, it's now windy and it's raining. But I got done what I needed to get done so far with the wood chips, and I think it looks really nice. And I hope you agree. Over here, this part of the garden still has a bit to do. Oh, I can see there's rain on the lens there. So yeah, there's still stuff to be done there, but I think I've made quite a good amount of progress. I'm really chuffed. So I'm going to leave that for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed what I've done, please give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel if you want to continue to follow my gardening and chicken keeping journey. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye for now.